The tragic death of Lisa Manders, a safari nightmare. It was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime, a dream vacation in Africa for Craig and Lisa Manders, a couple married for 40 years. They had carefully planned their adventure to Zambia, eager to explore the wilds of Africa together. But on June 5, 2024, during a peaceful bush walk through the lower Zambezi National Park, the unthinkable happened. Craig and Lisa Manders were a couple who epitomized the ideals of enduring love and shared adventure. Married for over 40 years, their relationship was grounded in mutual respect, laughter, and a shared love for life. Both natives of the northeastern United States, they settled in Cranford, New Jersey, where they raised 3 children and built a close-knit family. They were also blessed with a granddaughter, who brought them immense joy. The Manders family was everything to them, and their home was filled with warmth and hospitality. Lisa, 70, had worked in the financial industry for more than 4 decades, making a name for herself in a field dominated by men. Colleagues and friends described her as driven, intelligent, and compassionate, always willing to offer support and advice. Outside of work, Lisa's passions extended to cooking, a hobby she shared with Craig. She loved preparing elaborate meals, often hosting family and friends for gatherings that were as much about conversation and connection as they were about food. Her culinary skills were legendary within her circle, and she took pride in creating memorable experiences around the dinner table. Born and raised in Queens, New York, Lisa carried a deep love for the city where she had spent her formative years. She often spoke of the cultural vibrancy of New York and how it had shaped her outlook on the world. Lisa and Craig frequently visited the city, soaking in everything from Broadway shows to quiet walks in Central Park. New York was a place of personal significance, a city that always felt like home to her. Craig, now 73, had a background in real estate. He was known for his easygoing nature, quick wit, and unshakable support for his wife and children. In addition to his professional achievements, Craig was an avid traveler, having visited a number of countries throughout his life. But no place had captured his heart quite like Africa, a land of majestic landscapes, extraordinary wildlife, and a sense of adventure that he had long dreamed of experiencing up close. Throughout their marriage, Craig and Lisa shared a passion for exploring new places. They traveled to Europe, Asia, and South America, each trip bringing them closer together as they discovered new cultures, cuisines, and landscapes. However, one destination that had always eluded them was Africa. Both of them had dreamed of visiting the African continent for years, captivated by its raw beauty and the allure of its wildlife. After decades of work and raising their family, the Manders finally decided it was time to make that dream a reality. Their African safari was to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience, a celebration of their shared love for travel and a well-deserved escape after years of hard work. Lisa, in particular, had been thrilled about seeing the animals in person. She often spoke with admiration about the documentaries she'd watched about African wildlife, marveling at the elephants, lions, and, of course, the hippos. Craig shared her excitement, eager to witness the wonders of the African wilderness firsthand. They selected African Portfolio, a well-regarded safari tour company based in Connecticut, to help plan their journey. The company had a reputation for providing high-end, safe, and expertly guided safari experiences. For the Manders, it felt like the perfect choice. They believed they were in capable hands, with an itinerary that promised to take them deep into the heart of Zambia, known for its breathtaking landscapes and abundant wildlife. This trip, they hoped, would mark the pinnacle of their travel adventures, a dream fulfilled, and a new chapter in their lives. Lisa had always been a planner, and every detail of the trip had been meticulously arranged. It was to be the culmination of years of dreams, a shared adventure that they would look back on fondly for the rest of their lives. Tragically, what should have been an extraordinary experience turned into a nightmare that would haunt Craig for the rest of his life. Their history of love, adventure, and exploration had set the stage for what was meant to be an unforgettable journey. Yet, on June 5, 2024, during a bushwalk on the Zambezi River's banks, it all ended in a devastating, senseless tragedy that would leave Craig grieving the loss of his wife, and his life forever changed. It was early morning when Craig and Lisa, both in their 70s, set off on the walk with their tour guides. The sun was just beginning to peek over the horizon, casting a soft glow across the savannah. They were part of a small group led by guides from African Portfolio, a well-known Connecticut-based tour company. Lisa, who had always dreamed of visiting Africa, was exhilarated. Craig, ever the protector, stayed close by her side, his eyes scanning the landscape. "This is incredible," Lisa said, her voice filled with wonder as she snapped pictures of the lush greenery around them. "I can't believe we're really here." Craig smiled at her, feeling a deep sense of contentment. "I knew we would make it here one day, honey. You deserve this adventure." They walked along a riverbank, where their guides had promised they might spot wildlife. As they approached the water, a lone hippopotamus was seen submerged, its large eyes peering above the surface. The group stopped to observe the animal, a creature many in the group had only seen in documentaries. "This is a rare sight," one of the guides remarked. "Hippos are usually more elusive." But even as the guide spoke, Craig's instincts began to stir. He had read that hippos were one of the most dangerous animals in Africa, known for their unpredictable aggression and territorial nature. But there was little time to think further before the guides, including one armed with a rifle, began moving away from the group. "Stay here, but be careful," the guide said casually, nodding in the direction of the hippo. "We'll keep an eye on you from a distance." Craig exchanged a glance with Lisa. Something didn't feel right. "Do you think this is safe?" he whispered to her, his voice tense. Lisa, ever the optimist, smiled reassuringly. "It's fine, Craig. They're the experts, right?" But in the back of his mind, Craig couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The guides were leaving them exposed to the very animal they had been warned about, without any safety measures in place. His unease deepened. Minutes passed, but the hippo remained still in the water. Then, without warning, the animal lifted its massive head and looked directly at the group. In the blink of an eye, it charged. Craig froze. "Oh my God," he whispered, his heart racing. Before he could react, the hippo closed the distance with terrifying speed, its massive jaws snapping open. "Lisa!" Craig shouted, his voice cracking with panic as he turned toward her. But Lisa couldn't escape. The hippo was upon her in an instant. The horrifying sound of crushing bone and ripping flesh echoed through the air as the giant creature clamped down on Lisa. She screamed, but the sound was drowned out by the animal's terrifying roar. The hippopotamus violently lifted her off the ground, shaking her like a rag doll, before tossing her back to the ground. Craig rushed toward her, but the sight before him made his legs weak. His wife, the woman he had loved for decades, was now lying motionless, her body mangled. His heart broke as he watched helplessly. "No. No," he cried out, but there was nothing he could do. The other tourists stood frozen, too stunned to move. The guide who had been armed with a rifle reappeared, only to stand by, watching in shock. "It's too late," he said, his voice filled with regret but devoid of action. "Help her!" Craig screamed, desperation turning his voice raw. "Do something." The guide shook his head. It's over," he muttered, eyes wide with disbelief. Craig dropped to his knees beside Lisa, holding her hand as she gasped for breath. But her injuries were catastrophic. The violence of the attack left no room for hope. Lisa's breathing slowed, and within minutes, her life slipped away in Craig's arms. In the days that followed, Craig could barely comprehend what had happened. His mind replayed the horrifying events over and over. The trip had promised so much, yet ended with the love of his life ripped from him in the most brutal way. The safari company, African Portfolio, soon came under scrutiny for the negligence that led to Lisa's death. Craig could not remain silent. He filed a lawsuit against the company on February 5, 2025, seeking justice for his wife's death. "The idea that we were exposed to such extreme danger is astonishing," Craig said in a statement through his attorneys, Paul Slager and Nicole Coates. "Had we understood the dangers posed by the hippopotamus, we never would have agreed to be in such close contact while on foot. I should have been able to protect her. But the guides just left us there. I don't understand how they could abandon us like that." Craig's voice trembled as he continued, "I saw my wife die in front of me. No one should ever have to experience that." The lawsuit, filed in Stamford Superior Court, accuses African Portfolio of negligence and recklessness. Craig claims the tour company failed to ensure the safety of its clients, inadequately trained and supervised its guides, and exposed him and his wife to an entirely avoidable danger. In a statement, Craig's attorney, Paul Slager, emphasized the preventability of the attack. "This could have been avoided," Slager said. "The safari guides should have known better. They should have kept a safe distance from the hippopotamus and should never have left the group unprotected. The lawsuit further alleges that African portfolio encouraged or permitted the Manders to approach the hippo, despite the clear risks. The company, represented by attorney Rodney Gould, denied any wrongdoing, arguing that it was simply a tour operator that arranged the trip, while the responsibility for the guides and safety rested with the Safari Lodge, Chiawa Lodge, in Zambia. Lisa's death shattered not only her husband but her entire family. Craig had lost his partner of 40 years, a woman who had shared his life and dreams. She was a mother to 3 children and a grandmother to a young granddaughter. She was the best wife, mother, and friend anyone could hope for, Craig said, his voice thick with emotion. As the lawsuit progresses, Craig hopes to not only seek justice for his wife but also ensure that other tourists are never put in the same perilous position. What happened to Lisa shouldn't happen to anyone else, Craig said firmly. The tour company should be held accountable for what happened and for the way they neglected our safety. The attack on Lisa Manders serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of wildlife encounters in the African wilderness. Though Africa's natural beauty draws thousands of tourists every year, incidents like this underscore the need for rigorous safety measures and responsible oversight. Craig Manders hopes his legal battle will inspire change within the safari tourism industry, ensuring that future travelers are protected and that this type of tragedy is prevented. The Manders had come to Africa to experience its wonders together, but the memory of their dream trip will forever be tainted by a moment of neglect, one that cost Lisa her life. Now, Craig is fighting not just for justice but for the hope that no other family will have to face the same horror. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more awesome content.